Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises. Let me say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Kol Halallah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, elder bishops, here in Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect scattered abroad. I'm the brother Taz of War from the GMS New Jersey camp, and just here again with another lesson in hopes to edify those of the hopeful elect. This lesson here is going to be based on a video I saw a little bit earlier, and you know, it kind of sums up a lot of what's going on in prophecy. All right, Bible prophecy. It sums up a lot. So I'm gonna let a video play a little bit, let them speak. Hopefully, Lord willing, I can get some precepts, you know, and hopefully you're edified. You know, stay in tune with what's going on around the world. You know, the men of the Lord are sent out to teach and to edify those of the hopeful elect. Let this edifying, which edify means to build, let it build upon your faith toward Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. All right. Now, the scripture I do want to get is let me go to it. Give me 1 second. All right, the book of Habakkuk, which is 2 verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. It says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon, write the vision and make it plain upon tables for those, and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And that's prophecy. All right? So without further ado, let me play the video.
I have some extremely important stories for you, so let's just jump right into it. And I want to start things off with this latest Doomsday Signal. The U.S. Air Force quietly fired off a 246-character emergency action message, the same kind used to transmit nuclear launch codes. This wasn't sent to the public, not to FEMA, not to civilians. No, it went through the high-frequency global communication system, a network used exclusively to talk to nuclear submarines, missile silos, and airborne command centers. In other words, the people who decide if the planet burns. And the creepiest part, no one knows what it said. No press release, no explanation, no media coverage. Could have been a drill, could have been a warning, could have been someone checking if our nukes still get decent Wi-Fi. But here's the real question. Why now? Why quietly fire off a nuke-tier transmission through the most classified emergency comm system on Earth when tensions with Russia, China, and Iran are all boiling at once? You don't just test that system for fun. You test it when you think you might actually use it. And don't forget, this is the same comm system built to survive EMP attacks, satellite blackouts, and first strikes. You only flip that switch when the clock's getting close to midnight. We're talking DEFCON level chatter, Cold War stuff. And the worst part, you won't even know if it was real until it is. The world seems to be going nuts, and I don't know about you, but these doomsday warnings are starting to look like way more than just your average coincidences. We already heard the Russian doomsday buzzer going off, and now our own Air Force is seemingly transmitting an unusually long EAM signal. And then there were all those dead pelicans. 16 dead pelicans just fell from the sky in Alabama. This is not normal. In Mobile, Alabama, residents woke up to a chilling sight. 16 dead pelicans scattered across a neighborhood. Officials claim a lightning strike hit the birds while they were resting in nearby trees. But here's the problem. Some of those birds were found in the middle of the street, far away from any trees, and there were no visible burn marks on most of the bodies. Something doesn't add up. And this isn't an isolated event. This fits into a pattern called animal rain, when creatures just fall from the sky, often during weird weather events. In 2010, thousands of blackbirds fell dead in Arkansas. In 2022, it was anchovies dropping in San Francisco. We're told...
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, you know, the birds, animals dying, you know, that's the Most High. All right, showing you that death is on its way. You know, they say that whenever there's crows, lots of them, you know, at once flocking together, that brings forth, you know, somebody's died, somebody's dead, or death is on its way. And there's been a lot of blood moons too, you know, that I've been noticing, you know, heavy in the sky every other day. So that also is a sign. Remember, the Lord said there'll be signs in the heavens. So we at the end of this thing, man. And he is getting ready for World War III. At the same time, he's getting ready, all right, to issue in his NWO. You know, that new world, all right, you know what, order. All right. So let me continue in the video.
It's freak weather, storms, air pressure, anything but what we're actually seeing. A repeated, unexplained phenomenon. Now, back to the pelicans. These aren't city birds. They fly over coastlines, open water, not residential neighborhoods. So why did 16 fall from the sky in one concentrated spot? Could it be disorientation from magnetic fields, toxic exposure, or even military tech interference? No updates, no transparency, just a quiet cleanup and a headline buried in local news. This isn't a one-off. These events are piling up, and each time the answer feels more like a guess than an explanation. So you tell me, do you buy the lightning story, or is this another sign that something's messing with nature? Now, since we're discussing the idea of a freak lightning strike, have you heard about the huge ice balls that are slamming cars and scaring the life out of people in Colorado and Minnesota?
It was a wild weather day all across our state. It started with a rare overnight hailstorm hammering northern Colorado with baseball-sized hail smashing out car windows.
How are we getting? I don't know what part.
See? And even though these could be effects of what weapons Edom is using, but at the same time, the Most High said there'll be signs in the heavens. Now you got hail falling from earth, all right? Snowballs that are, you know, ices that are breaking car windows, man. This shows you that the spirit, you know, that's resonating over Babylon the Great, aka America, is death, man. Great destruction is on its way, man. So that's why it's very important, you know, to be in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash, at all times, man. Lock in. You know, lock in, man. Alright? Because really there ain't no time left. You know, we're not coming to the throne, you know, ashamed. We're coming to the throne of the Lord bold, as the scripture said. You know, confident, with faith. That we gave this thing all we got. You know, all that we can. In hopes that the Lord deliver us and show us mercy. You know? So let's continue.
Our weather is clearly not acting in a normal way, and it just keeps getting worse with every single day. I mean, I've been seeing comments from some of you discussing why it's so damn hot in places like Florida. Well, we already have a huge heat wave alert, and there are even reports of severe drought coming to states like Florida and Nevada. Of course, the legacy media is blaming it all on the climate cuts, but we all know who's really behind it all. And speaking of this hidden devil, did you know that DARPA is using the Chinese biohazard story to release yet another program targeted towards our agriculture sector?
Something super fishy is going on. So, you know, the two Chinese...
And fair use. I'm not using a video for monetary gain, just for educational purposes. You know, just showing this guy's work of content that he put in together, you know, to prove, to further edify the scriptures. And that the Most High is in control. And all these things are happening for a reason. All right, who the world ignorantly calls JC, okay, which his true name is Yahushai. He's close to, you know, coming back, making that second return. You know, these things must come to pass, all right, which is prophecy. So let's continue.
Nationals that allegedly brought in this ag terror weapon, and now we're all upset. Well, actually, this is a type of fungus that already exists in the United States. It's already problematic for farmers. It's been here for a really long time. It's not some novel new type of ag terrorism. So what's weird is that this actually happened a year ago, but it was reported this week. Also this week, DARPA announced a big plan to fund different types of crop protection so that we can protect ourselves from ag terrorism. Think GMO 2.0. So there are a lot of companies right now that are trying to get funding to do new types of CRISPR manipulation of our food and try and make it resistant to fungal outbreaks. So this is a great way to justify it in saying that it's to fight ag terrorism from China.
It seems like they might be ready.
This is why these devils gotta go. You know, they're really shaping, you know, their world order. CRISPR dealing with editing, gene editing, you know, modifying, GMOs, genetically modified organisms, like she said, GMO 3.0, you know, they're turning it up a notch, you know. So the foods that we eat are poison. It's no good. Now you see why everybody's working out. Everybody's in the gym, you know, despite the outward appearance. But the scriptures say bodily exercise profit little. It do profit. You know, your brother, your sister, you know, I wouldn't advise you women going to the gym. You know, but you know, that's between you and your husband. But have some sort of cardio workout, you know, fitness program that you dedicated to, you know, and strive to eat as good as you can in the Lord, you know, healthy, not good, but healthy. You know, good foods, you know, that helps the body because we're being poisoned, you know, eating fake foods, genetically modified foods, man. We're not supposed to be eating this shit, but they want us to eat this shit because they want to control the population. Not only downsize it, but they want to control you. So let's continue. Devil's got to go, man.
To test their APT program, and if you haven't heard about it, let me get you up to speed. This project, called Advanced Plant Technologies, or APT. Now, I just want to show you guys what DARPA's own website has to say about this project. The Advanced Plant Technologies program seeks to develop plants capable of serving as next-generation, persistent, ground-based sensor technologies to protect deployed troops and the homeland by detecting and reporting on chemical, biological, radiological, and explosive CBRNE threats. Look, if you're part of this community, I'm sure you're already seeing all the red flags in this statement. But the website further explains that these plants need to be very resilient and energy independent so they could easily be deployed on a large scale in a conflict zone. And even though these plants are definitely being used for surveillance, the people at DARPA want us to know that they still maintain their plant characteristics so they can fit into an environment. Look, releasing creepy plants into our fields is one thing, but if they start messing with our food supply, the average American would be the first to get hit. And speaking of protecting the food supply, have you heard about the cyber attack that's hit nearly 30,000 grocery stores and supermarkets? The food supply is under attack and barely anyone is reporting it. On June 5th, UNFI, the main distributor for Whole Foods and over 30,000 grocery stores nationwide, was hit with a massive cyber attack. And weeks later, their systems are still not fully back online. Deliveries are failing, inventory systems are broken, some stores are running on backup, and the shelves quietly going empty. Whole Foods is scrambling. Here's the real question: why haven't you heard about this? Because they don't want panic. Not yet. No public alerts, no national headlines, just silence. But this isn't just a tech glitch, it's a direct hit on the American food chain. And it's not the first one. In the last few years, we've seen meatpacking plants hacked, farms burned, fertilizer shortages, and now the main distributor of organic food in the U.S. gets taken offline. That's not coincidence, that's coordination. Control the food, control the people. You don't need troops in the streets if you can empty the shelves. And here's what makes this even more suspicious.
Right.
UNFI controls distribution to co-ops, independents, and even institutional buyers. Take them out and you choke supply to everyone.
Right, that's why I believe, and this is just my humble opinion, I speak as a man, until the Lord reveal the prophecy and bring it to pass, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is the micro C-hip, all right? I believe they would take away the foods, you know, take away supplies and resources for you to have that. I mean, well, for you to receive that, or for that to be forced upon you, in better words. Because the scriptures tell us in, what's that, Revelations 13:16, and I'll phrase it or quote it. He calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in his right hand or on his forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. All right. So without that mark, you won't be able to buy nor sell. All right. So how would you buy foods if they take away your foods? How would you identify yourself so that you can buy food right here in Babylon the Great, aka America? Now, I really believe they'll take away the food and then they'll force you to take that thing. Whatever how it come to pass, you know, whatever how they do it, you're gonna have to need the mind control, which is the government, you know, for these things, because they have control of all these things, man. You know. So I was thinking of a scripture. I was thinking about Revelations 3:10. You know, these scriptures always come to mind right off the bat. Yahweh Shai, he said, if thou have kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. And that hour of temptation is when this devil calls all, both small and great, all right, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, receive that karagi. The Lord said, if you have kept his patience, he will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. Meaning the Lord will have you to eat. He will have you to have those supplies without this devil. Remember Revelations 15, okay? Revelations 15. Let me get that real quick. This is the book of Revelations 15:1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, right? Them that had got the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on a sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. And they sung the song of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Okay? So, those that get the victory is going to be the elect. That's not going to take that mark, which is the micro C-hip. Okay? They're going to get that victory. This is prophecy. There are going to be those of the remnant, small remnant of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's elect, that's not going to take the MOTB. So if you think that when that time comes, you know, you have to take it, no, you don't. Well, I'm going to say this, because Yahweh Shai said it. He said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. This means that it's really not your choice. It's the way of the Lord and how he designed your life. Because if you're of the elect, you're not going to take it. And if you're not of the elect, you're going to take it. So if you have kept his patience, which is sufferings and your burdens, carrying your burdens in his truth, like he said, pick up your cross, which represents your burdens, you know, and we cast them upon the Lord, as the scriptures say, cast our burdens upon the Lord and he shall sustain thee. He would never suffer the righteous to be moved, right? Meaning you walk in this path of difficulty through the straight gate, you know? If you endure in this truth and this gospel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that he will keep you from that time of taking it. It would be his protection. It will be his protection that's on you. He will have the angels with you. All right? He will feed you. How we know that? Isaiah 65. I'm not going to read it. You can read it if you don't know. These are scriptures that always come out. I know I always bring them out. These scriptures always come to mind. You know, if you watch the videos, you know I bring those scriptures out over and 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 over. Favorite scriptures, man. And these scriptures should stick because it should remind you in that day, you know, what the Lord's word is, which is Yahweh Shai. All right? It's going to remind you. That's why you're going to keep the faith, because you're going to cast your burdens upon the Lord. You know? He's going to help you. Right? So Isaiah 65, verse 11 on down. All right? So let's continue. This damn thing won't hold up, man.
Except the biggest corporate chains. So while people argue about the price of eggs, the entire system is being weakened from the inside. First, it was fuel shortages. Now it's food. What's next? Now, moving on, I want to talk about this new GOP plan to sell more than 3 million acres of federal land to housing developers and other parties.
Another effort from a Republican lawmaker in D.C. could affect Idaho's beloved public lands. Utah Senator Mike Lee introduced legislation yesterday that would allow the federal government to sell millions of acres across the West.
The plan is to sell at least 2 million acres of federal land, maybe as much as 3.3 million, a bunch of it here in San Diego County.
First of all, you gotta understand the GOP senators have been trying for a long time to use the federal land for more housing developments. And even though the liberal media is scaring people to death, the plan isn't that crazy. The local governments can still choose to stop the sale of this land, and the plan also prohibits the sale of national parks, national monuments, wilderness areas, and national recreation areas, as well as land with mining claims, grazing permits, mineral leases, and right-of-ways. You see, the simple fact is that we need to build more housing, and it's better to solve this issue by giving local governments the authority to sell. Of course, we can still end up seeing a lot of corruption and mismanagement, but unless we build more housing, we're going to keep seeing videos like this one.
Let me show you what $1,450 a month gets you in LA. So this is my little shoebox studio apartment. And that is it. We got no stove, no oven, but we do have a fridge. And then I have a walk-in closet. It's a mess. And then I have the most adorable tile bathroom. Oh, it's pretty. And oh yeah, no kitchen sink. I do my dishes in the bathtub.
She's basically paying $1,500 for a well-furnished prison cell, but that's LA for you. Now, I want to end this video by talking about the Trump family's latest business venture. The Trump family just announced their newest venture, Trump Mobile, and it's already turning heads. The flagship phone, a gold-colored T1 Android, advertised as a secure, American-made alternative to big tech. It comes with a custom wireless plan, branded apps, and a promise of freedom from Silicon Valley surveillance. But here's what they're not telling you. Trump Mobile admits it uses AI to track users right on their own website. Their privacy policy confirms they collect device data, browsing behavior, location info, and more, all processed.
Now, I'm going to wind that back because I seen that, I think, yesterday about the Trump phones. Who in the hell will buy a Trump phone? You got to be a damn dumbass fanatic to be buying a Trump phone as if it's really something that's going to be, you know, private. You gotta be, and this guy, and yeah, oh yeah, all right, yeah, I know. Yeah, a family member told me about that. That's where it came from. And it said, and I was told he got some sneakers too. What the hell, this Trump? That's how you know this damn devil is Nero, man. Trump got sneakers? Now I haven't seen it myself, but somebody told me that he got a new cell phone that he's out here selling, and he's also selling sneakers, Trump sneakers. I mean, come on, man. The king of Babylon, man. Donald Trump. Nero, a.k.a. Nero, man. You know? So, anyway, let's continue.
And that is it. We got no stove, no oven, but we do have a fridge. And then I have a walk-in closet.
So imagine getting used to living like that. That's exactly how they want you to live. You know, when they got you in these smart cities and shit, and you know, you rely on the mind control. She can't even cook her own damn food in the house. You ain't got no stove, you ain't got no oven. You can't even make your own food. What she do? Buy out all day, paying $1,500 of rent, like he said. And then what you doing? Buying out every day? That's expensive as hell, man. Even if it is just for you. And she's living by herself with no family. You know? Let's say she's living by herself and she's living like that. That's still expensive. You're relying on, you know, restaurants to be open for your food. What happens if you're having a long day and you can't get the food you want? You gotta just order whatever's open. And then don't let it be late. Now you eating nothing but garbage. Everything at nighttime be garbage. It be that greasy food from the chicken shacks, man. You know, or some fast food places. You don't want to eat no fast food. I just had a conversation earlier about that. You know, the fast food burgers and chicken do not smell. They don't have a smell to it, and it does not taste or look like the food that you cook over the stove. When you eat a home cooked meal, you know, and this is, you know, something of my testimony lately. You know, I've been having conversations about it. When I eat a home cooked meal at lunch on my break, I don't get full. It's like boom, shit hit the spot. I'm up, good, let's go. You know. But if I go into the store, get me a little chicken wrap, you know what I'm saying? Get that shit. Let's see, it's a little small chicken wrap. I'm full as hell. Kind of don't even feel like working no more. You know? Home cooked meals is where it's at, man. You can make and prepare your own foods, even though the meats we eat are bad. You know, but praying is a must. You know, right now you should be heavy into praying right now. You know, every day should be a prayer going up from you brothers and you few sisters. You know, you should be praying so much that, you know, you can't even, you know, put a number on praying a day, man. Every day is a heavy day of praying, man. You know, every day, man. You know, increase. You know? So let's continue. Salaki.
I have the most adorable time. And oh yeah, no kitchen sink. I do my dishes in the bathroom.
She's basically paying $1,500 for a well-furnished prison cell, but that's LA for you. Now, I want to end this video by talking about the Trump family's latest business venture. The Trump family just announced their newest venture, Trump Mobile, and it's already turning heads. The flagship phone, a gold-colored T1 Android, advertised as a secure, American-made alternative to big tech. It comes with a custom wireless plan, branded apps, and a promise of freedom from Silicon Valley surveillance. But here's what they're not telling you. Trump Mobile admits it uses AI to track users right on their own website. Their privacy policy confirms they collect device data, browsing behavior, location info, and more, all processed through AI systems. You thought you were leaving Facebook and Google behind? You're not off the grid. You're walking straight into Palantir's playground. This Patriot phone might be watching closer than Zuckerberg even dreamed of. And it gets deeper. Trump Mobile's T1 phone has all the red flags of a white label Android, possibly built overseas with bad specs and marketing buzzwords like lifelong battery and health monitoring. Meanwhile, their site has already faced bot crashes and security issues during pre-orders, and this is the phone that's supposed to protect your privacy? Ask yourself, is this really about patriotism or just surveillance with a new paint job? Same data collection, same behavioral profiling, just with red, white, and blue branding. You ditched big tech, but now Big Brother is wrapped in gold.
Right.
And that'll be it for today, folks. I
Oh.
know what you guys think about the
Locked in for that. Bear with me.
project. Also, what are your thoughts on this strange transmission from the U.S. Air Force? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.
Okay, so that's the lesson, man. You know, I wanted to just kind of listen to the video and ride. I'm going to try to do more videos like this. It's hard to look at scriptures, you know, and read and drive on the highway. It's different from on the highway than being on the street. From on the highway, I can't keep my head down and look at scriptures, but I did quote a lot of scriptures. And if you brothers are listening and you brothers faithful in watching this lesson, watching the show, put your comments, man. Leave your precepts to help, you know, for those of the hope for elect to get edified. You know? But hopefully I can come back again and have some more videos like this, Lord's willing. You know, breaking down a lot of things that's going on, even some of the things you might have missed. You know, right now it's taking storm of World War III, which is this the beginning. Alright? Still, Jacob's trouble is going to come to pass, and the force of the MOTB, the micro him, will come to pass, man. Thus saith the Bible. Alright? So call Halala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, alright, which is all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, in the name of his Son Yahweh Shai. I want to give my double honors to my apostles, elder bishops, and great millstone who ruled well, alright, who taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Kodash, right? And salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect scattered abroad. May Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai be with you and your families. Pray, brothers, and you sisters, pray, you know, because we almost out of here. So with that, shalom.